big day for Bring Me the Horizon fans because we officially have the release of Kool-Aid. It's rolling out and people have been wondering what was going to happen with the band going into Nex Gen because this year we're going to be getting that record. And although we have already gotten some singles released for it, the recent announcement that Jordan Fish departed from the band and just parted ways from Bring Me the Horizon left a lot of fans wondering what the next trajectory was going to be. And in their ever-evolving soundscape, where were they going to take their genre in the future and what this record was going to entail. And I think Kool-Aid is a little bit of a mixed bag. I think it has some really good qualities and some really not so great qualities, or at least mediocre qualities. This one's a lot more like Amen than it is Lost. It has the mosh-friendly chorus, it has the mosh-friendly riffs, and the pummeling guitars. It's arena stadium sized and nothing ever gets too terribly heavy, and they're of course leaning in more to the like, oh, let's throw in some metal vocals with like some layered Ollie growls, which I'm never going to complain about. I always love hearing Ollie do his metal vocals, but they throw it in because people really get excited for it, and it's always like the oh my gosh moment of the song where Twitch streamers and reaction channels will just be like, oh my god, Bring Me the Horizon is heavy again, see guys? Which it's neither here nor there, and I don't think anyone should just linger on what Bring Me the Horizon is or isn't in terms of their sound. I think when it comes to the singles that have been released in anticipation for Next Gen, I do think this one kind of lacks a lot of the bulk of something like Lost or something like Amen, although I do think this is pretty much on the same wavelength as Amen was. More electronic embellishments working their way into Bring Me the Horizon's music, as well as the buildup of the breakdown, Ollie doing his like corpse husband-esque, like really close to the mic, sort of singing near the end where the breakdown happens. It really does feel like Bring Me the Horizon wanted to tick every box, and I don't think that's necessarily a good or bad thing. It just depends on what your perception and your preference of their style is. But as a longtime Bring Me the Horizon fan, and as a fan of their new era as well, I think it's pretty obvious that they are catering to the demographic of people that really want a little bit of everything. The big chorus, the call out, the pummeling moshy breakdown, the build up to the breakdown, the electronic bits and bobs that are thrown into the mix as little synths in the backdrop, as well as Ollie cycling between his vocals and having the little bit of metal vocal thrown in there. Although I don't know if this is just a me thing and if this is going to change as I listen to the song more, but I'm not a huge fan of how the clean vocals are mixed on this track. I think when he gets more vigorous and aggressive, it's when this track hits more from a mix department, but I wasn't a big fan of how synthesized and buried a lot of his vocals feels like. The instrumentation just sort of swallows him at points of this track, specifically leading into the choruses, and the first verse especially just kind of left me scratching my head because I feel like he could have been turned up or equalized a bit more. The rest of the track seems very organic and natural, but the constant cycling and imbalance of volume levels really did strike me as odd, because Bring Me the Horizon, if they are one thing, they're usually very consistent about sticking with their sound from a mixing department, and they always have really good mixes and balancing and EQ and that sort of thing. But he's drenched in these mechanical effects and just slathered in reverb, and honestly I think I would have liked this track a little more if he would have been turned up a bit in the mix, or if he wouldn't have been processed, because it's a little bit of a stark contrast to how natural a lot of the rest of the instrumentation feels, and that wasn't an issue that was present on Lost or Amen, which were very similar, especially Amen, so I'm not really sure how this track came out the other side sounding so unbalanced from a production department, but that's just my opinion and y'all can disagree if you do. This track feels pretty safe by Bring Me the Horizon standards. I would not say it's nearly as safe as like Dark Side. I think that really was like just the Linkin Park-esque vibe that you would go for. But I did like how you felt some of those sempiternal vibes coming out, specifically in the chorus and some of the way the riffs come across. It did recall the big, depressive, cynical choruses of Sempiternal, and I have to commend, I love Ollie's falsetto on this track. I like that he's playing around more with his range. He's not just sticking in one range on this track, and that is something I appreciate. I think this track is serviceable, and I think it probably would be one of the ones that stand out when the record releases, if not for the fact it plays it safe, then for the fact that the chorus is pretty standout. The one thing I can say about the chorus is it does take up a lot of space in the composition. It is a very played out and lingering on chorus, so if this was like a more lackluster or inferior chorus, this track would be fucking mud to try to trudge through, because it does stick around for a long time, and this track is very much dominated by the chorus. It feels less like a bunch of moving parts coming together to create one final product, and more so the tracks building up these big gotcha moments, whether it be the breakdown or the chorus or the build up, and they really really do lay into making those moments have big payoff and be arena sized, and I have no doubt it's going to get a lot of reactions from like live venues and that sort of thing. But I'm curious to see how this track ages as we go down the line, and I'm excited to see where it fits in with the record when it releases. And finally, lyrically, I think it's just okay. It has all the trademarks of what you expect from Bring Me the Horizon, and I think I would be a bit higher lyrically on this track if it was done in a little bit more of an original light. But Bring Me the Horizon have written a ton of songs about, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid metaphorically, or selling out to the system, or just placating yourself. I mean, Mantra was the entire build up to Amo, and a lot of their songs have really laid into that theme of cult-like behavior and brainwashing. So it's not really doing anything super new or original by their standards, and I don't even think that it's written in a way that is super ingenious or anything, but I don't think it necessarily has to be, and simplicity and minimalism can be just as fine. But lyrics and theme are not things to write home about when it comes to this track. It's catchy, it has a lot of the hallmarks that make Bring Me the Horizon who and what they are, and I think there are a lot of things to rave about this track. It is earwormy. I think this chorus is going to stick in my head for a while, and besides the vocals being a little wishy-washy, I think the mix is very good. The riffs are very nice. It is huge. What are your guys' opinions of this new Bring Me the Horizon track, Kool-Aid? You can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it and discuss it with you guys. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.